Why Dan Hurley will listen to the Knicks if they come calling, but ultimately he comes back to UConn. You're on the Hoops Cap.
Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Yeah. UConn, baby. Home of the champions. Let's go.
What's up, everybody? Hey, thanks for joining us on the Hoops Cap pod, powered by Big East Energy Network. Go to bigeastenergy.com. Make sure you check out some of the fun merchandise we have there. Want to entertain this subject because it's what's going to likely happen every year. You know, Dan Hurley has won 2 of 3 national championships. And when you do that, you don't think the NBA is going to come calling every year. Now, people are up in arms because it's the Knicks and it's close to home. This isn't about Dan Hurley looking for a way out. This isn't about one job. This isn't about one city. It's always going to make him stop and think because he has made those aspirations known. Now, people change their mind. I think this is one thing that I think is so frustrating about the way we look at society nowadays, which is when someone makes a statement, it's almost as if that person is incapable of changing their mind. So Dan Hurley has made the statement that he does want to coach in the NBA. And then when he turned down the Lakers job, he did make the statement that he is not going to coach college basketball anywhere else but UConn. That does not mean that he won't take a look at one of the premier jobs in the NBA. Because let's face it, guys, no matter how bad the Knicks history is, having not won a title in forever, having not even been in the Eastern Conference Finals for 25 years and up until this last Nova Knicks run, that's what made this so stunning, but also at the same time shouldn't make anyone feel uncomfortable because that's the way the NBA works. It's a very transactional league. It's very rare that you have the Greg Popoviches of the world or the Eric Spoelstras of the world that are just around forever and create championship after championship. So let's start here. The Knicks job isn't some rebuilding disaster. So this is a team that just made the Eastern Conference Finals. Jalen Brunson, OG Anunoby, Karl Anthony Towns, Josh Hart. Hell, they even got, Mitchell Robinson played great in the series. You even got some great minutes out of guys like Landry Shamet, et cetera. And this is a group that's competitive. It's professional. It's not a group that is, let's face it, a bunch of babies. These are gritty. And just think about the names that I just said. Jalen Brunson, even if you just did the Nova guys, Miles Bridges, Josh Hart, those guys all were coached by Jay Wright. Now, some people are throwing his name around. Jay Wright may take that phone call, but he's not going anywhere. I think my guy is 1,000% retired for good. That being said, Dan Hurley is a Jay Wright guy. They respect the hell out of each other. If this comes calling, he has a serious conversation around this. You don't think he's going to call up Jay Wright and say, "What's it like to coach these guys?" And has the NBA changed them to any great degree? And the answer to that question is likely no. These guys are team guys. Do they all get paid? Do they all get paid a lot of money? Absolutely. That being said, to win a title, to bring a title to New York is an accomplishment that a lot of people they don't have. And, last year the Lakers offered this guy $70 million to come west, coach a LeBron. Eventually he would have coached Luka. He turned that down, but not without a lot of thought. And he said it to himself, the opportunity to coach a once-in-a-lifetime player never, nearly pulled him out of UConn. And, maybe that's some kind of coach speak, and maybe that's for the media. But this is more kind of down home, man. Like, you're a Jersey City kid. Your dad is a Hall of Famer in that area, in this tri-state area. You got Jersey family. Your wife is undoubtedly Jersey. Shout out Andrea. It wouldn't surprise me if he jumped, because as sad as I'd be, because I think Dan is a once in a lifetime, follow, if that's what in terms of what we do in this world, covering these sports, you just don't get a lot of Dan Hurleys. They're just not around. They don't grow on trees. He is a rare breed of fantastic coach, will give you a lot during an interview, is respectful to everybody within the media. And then on the court, he's an absolute demon, just an absolute terrorizing the officials, always standing up for his guys, feeling like they're being cheated, like all that stuff. Like everything that is in the competitive nature of Dan Hurley is the antithesis of who he is when he's not on the basketball court. So on paper, I think Hurley's college system translates. The offense is completely transformed the complexity of how UConn runs things, and I think that makes a ton of sense for the way that this pick and roll, dribble handoff, on ball, almost a horn set on every set in the NBA with guys flaring for corner threes. I think the system makes sense. It's the reason why he's getting looks at the high level. And you don't win multiple titles at a blue blood like UConn and not get the call when the Knicks fire their coach. Like, it's just like he's the Coach K of our time. And I say that with like a little bit of a throw up in my mouth because I'm not a Duke guy, but Coach K is undeniable. Like, whenever there'd be an NBA job that opened up that was high profile, he 1,000% got a look. Calhoun got looks. Like, this is just a part of when you build something or you rebuild something to the highest level. So let's just all take a beat. It's an attractive job. If it was any other team, like when San Antonio opened up, people were freaking out about that. There's no way they didn't move to LA. Now they're going to move to San Antonio. Like, the Hurleys are not like a transactional group. This is a very thoughtful, intentional, wants to be thought of in the good graces of wherever they're working. And I think that's important to Dan. Like, I don't know Dan personally. But what I do know about him is that I think he wants people to know that what he is as a coach is affecting young men's lives on the basketball court and off the basketball court. And I don't think that he would get that same fulfillment with the Knicks. And I guarantee no matter how much money they throw at him, if it's a $70 million deal that just like the Lakers did, we're just gonna have to deal with this every year, guys. Like, you don't think the Brooklyn Nets or eventually, hell, Joe Mazzulla, in my opinion, kind of blew that series for the Celtics. They were a better team than the Knicks, and if Joe Mazzulla gets canned after winning a title next year, and the Knicks gap is open too, like this will be another conversation next year. But it's not a reach. It's not crazy. It's not clickbait. If there was a one NBA job Hurley has always dreamed about, it's probably the Knicks, and it's open right now. And that to me is a tough pill to swallow, but I'm not worried about it just yet. And I don't think you should be either. And we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about why he stays and just call it a day on the Hoops Guy. Be right back. All right. Now that we kind of laid out the reasons why he would go, I'm going to give you reasons why he won't. It's June. Summer workouts are starting. The roster for college basketball, especially at UConn, basically set, locked in both college, and then the NBA is going to be in flux. At UConn, Dan has everything he could want. He has full control. He just promoted Tom Moore to GM, someone that he has immense respect for, but he has total say in recruiting, scheduling, player development, his staff, and even how the freaking plane takes off. That just doesn't happen in the NBA. You got then you got your general manager, and then you got your owner. Oh, and then you have the players who all make more money than you, all have more power than you. It's just not it's not conducive to the Dan Hurley that we know and love at UConn, which he's going to control how they practice to give them that edge for when they play a game over the weekend against Seton Hall, or a big non-conference game next season against BYU, right? I don't think his superpower is not working at that level in the NBA ranks. So I don't think he's going to be barking at NBA refs the way he does in the Big East. I just think that they're too professional for that. But also the intensity of that performative nature works in a sprint of 40 games, which is the max you'd play if you won the NBA and won the NCAA title. But in an 82 game NBA grind, that chip on his shoulder just really might wear off, where it's just kind of like, whatever, man. It's Thursday night and we're in Charlotte and we're either kicking their ass or we're getting our asses kicked. Like, where does he lose that? Where does that numbing agent come from that some of these coaches have to have? Because you can't care that deeply about 82 games. It just shouldn't work. It just wouldn't be that way. And let's not forget about kind of the blood, sweat, and tears equity he's built in stores. You know, this year it's not going to happen, but Dan could lose 12, 15 games next year and still have those banners hanging in Gamble and in stores. In the NBA, you win a title and you get fired a year or two later. Ask Frank Vogel from the Lakers. Ask Michael Malone. I don't want him to get after me. Ask Michael Malone formerly of the Denver Nuggets. Like, those guys, hell, Frank Vogel won a title in a bubble, and he had to deal with LeBron James in a bubble in Orlando. And what was his thanks a couple years later? It's not working out. You're done. Michael Malone brings Denver its first title ever in the NBA. First NBA title in its existence. A year later, it's not working out. He also has unfinished business at UConn. Had they made the Final Four last year, let's say they upset Florida and they go on to a nice magical 8 seed Final Four run, losing the final, or win it all, he's gone. Like, there's just no, he would just go, because first off, Alex would have left, having won a third straight national title. What else would there have been to do? But losing the second round to Florida, that one hurt because he was close. And the reason why I know that one hurt so much is not because I was there and not because I asked questions that led to him breaking down and went viral and all that stuff. It's more about he knew how well they scouted and coached that game. He put a depleted UConn team in the best position to win a game against the eventual national champion Florida Gators and had them like on the ropes. We're talking, the official's going to come in and call off the fight because of how well UConn just went punch for punch with them. And they were close to having these little knockout blows, but that was the issue with this team this year. They just didn't have the horses. They just also didn't have the best year for some of these guys to kind of go cold, like an Alex Caravan, like Liam McNeely had a tough shooting game that day. Had that been different, I think Dan looks at this and goes, all right, guys, 2 national titles, a Final Four, best of luck. Kamani's going to take over, and I'm going to head on down the road, and we can have a nice Madison Square Garden UConn pipeline. But he built something that our former and best guest to ever come on the Hoops Gap, Jim Calhoun, started and kind of Dan resuscitated. He and I'd be remiss if I didn't say this, because even though I don't have like any brand deals or anything like that, but Dave Borges just came out with a book. It's called Hurley's Heroes. But I'm excited to read because he talks about the 2 years before. That's when it started. That 2018, 19, 20-ish, when UConn was under 500, and before the Big East, coming back to the Big East, like all that stuff. Like, so look, it is been a labor of love for Dan Hurley at UConn, and he's finally got it where they are a machine of top 10 recruiting classes, picking a couple of transfer portal ads, and now they're now in a top 10 team coming into his third year of this cycle of championship quality teams. 100% has an opportunity to compete for a national title. and at least get to a Final Four and take back the Big East crown from St. John's. This isn't the end of the road for Dan Hurley at UConn. Not with this roster, not with that firepower. The Knicks job is going to be tempting, no doubt about it. But the job in stores for him isn't finished. And I think he stays. I'm about 99.5% sure he stays. That 0.5% is one of those things where you just never know. But listen, UConn fans, you stop acting like he wouldn't at least listen. He should, because that's what professionals do. It's a good thing. It means you've got one of the best coaches in basketball. We all know it. But this is in LA, and Dan Hurley is not chasing anything. He's not coming off titles. He's coming off of a loss, which definitely makes a difference. If this job is open next year, we'll definitely talk about it again. But for now, I think Dan Hurley stays in stores, and we appreciate him for that. This has been another episode of the Hoops Gap. If you like it, please subscribe, like any of our stuff, any of our shows, from what will eventually be a new Nova show to our Johnny's Report to Roll Jays to Big East Energy Weekly to Pirate Vibes. Like, we have so much content on the Big East Energy channel and this network that is growing rapidly, and we appreciate all of your support. But you know what it is. It's UConn, baby. We'll see you soon.
Let's get it, let's get it. Let's get it, let's get it.